Welcome to Let's Make Waves podcast. I'm Rana Al-Basri Mawad, and this is episode 4. Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of my podcast. It's great to have you here. I want to start with a scenario for you. You're at a party or dinner, and someone turns around and asks you the classical question, "So, what do you do?" Now, the way you're going to answer that question will either, and here are some ways that this conversation might typically go. A, spark interest and you start having a great conversation with this new person that you've just met. B, you get the look. You know that look. The what? From that person who clearly has no clue what you've just said because maybe you've used a lot of technical words, and then you start to explain yourself, but it's just not a smooth start to the intro, and then it just goes south from there. Or C, the conversation is over, and that's the worst of all. There's no interest at all, and you end up with that, okay, great, nice meeting you. Now, what happened right there is you in a position giving your elevator pitch. And if you haven't perfected it or thought about it well, you stand the chance of losing someone at the start of the conversation. And that person could have been a potential client or someone who might have become your cheerleader and championed your business or your expertise to people they know within their circle who might have been interested in your business. Now, at some point, we've all been there, right? I mean, we all had that. And this happens to a lot of people, either in a conversation or by losing people who come and visit them online, let's say on social media, and they find an unclear or uninteresting profile bio, or they go on their website about page and it was just a weak introduction. But I don't want you to worry. Today, I'm going to take you through an exercise that you can do yourself to put your best profile information out there. I'll break it down for you into actionable steps that will help you perfect that elevator pitch and build your bio and about page on your website. So let's start with this, okay? So if you're online and you read about a person or a service, or you were watching a video or listening to a podcast that was delivered by someone who's new to you, what's the first thing you do? You Google them or you visit their website so you get to know more about that person and what's their service or their product that they offer, and if you're interested in them. Now, that first introduction to any entrepreneur is their first introduction to people is in their about page on their website or a visit to their profile on social media. So your social media profile and your website about page are very, very powerful tools. And you're not alone because a lot of people battle with it. And by the way, the struggle shows in the information. It's very easy for the client to sense that you're struggling because your bio will either look like an afterthought, it's not attended to, or in the about page, there's a lot of like unfounded bragging. And we've read that in a lot of people's bios, so we know what that means. Now, what any entrepreneur wants is to create a hook. And this is interest from the visitor to read more, to go through the website or the social media profile, read more posts, watch more videos, and all of that. The aim is to create interest where the potential client wants to either stay longer on that platform or start following you on social media or even sign up for your email list to receive your weekly newsletter or news. And for that to happen, for the hook to work, the social media bio or the website about page has to be interesting, informative, impressive, and most importantly, inviting. So, and that's the same thing that happens when you're doing your elevator pitch and you're meeting somebody new in person. Now, I'm not going to keep you any longer from getting started with perfecting your elevator pitch and building your bio and your about page. So let's dive into this exercise that I was telling you about. Okay, so the first step, so step 1 is to open a Word document or Google Docs and do something called a brain dump. So basically, write everything you want to share publicly about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? What is your business about? What are your credentials? Where did you study? What's your experience or expertise? If you have any clients, who are they? What customers you've worked with before. Now, I don't want you to think about the grammar or perfecting the wording. This is a brain dump, remember? So all you have to do is that you want to make sure that everything that is on your mind and in your history is on that paper. Everything that you want to share publicly is on that paper. And that paper is called the base document. But there's a caveat. When you're writing, please write in your own words, in your own voice. Like, don't write in a voice that is not yours. It's not authentic to you. And this is really important. So please keep that in mind, because your reader, the reader of your profile or your about page, will know if it's not really you, because they're going to be reading your blog posts or your social media posts or a video or whatever, and they're going to sense the difference, and you lose people like that. So now that you have your base document ready, you then open a new Word document and you transfer only what is important and relevant from the base document to the new document. And the new document is your about document. So this is step 2. Step 2 is the filtering stage. So you're pruning everything you have on the base page and using only what is relevant, what's interesting, and what's important for your audience to know about you. And this process will help you to construct an interesting sequence of information into your about page. So it looks like a story, and it's concise and it's interesting. And to help you further, let me list some of the things that I really think are important pointers to keep in mind when you're doing your about page. And these are things that you need to include in your about page. All right. So the first point is start with your why. Why do you do what you do? What is your higher goal? What do you want to achieve? Don't get hung up on your title. Instead, just concentrate on the mission or the aim. And this works for all kinds of entrepreneurs, but especially for entrepreneurs whose businesses are based on them, on their expertise, like coaches, consultants, freelancers, etc. Educators, for example. So this is important to start with your why. So let me give you an example. If you say something like, "Hi, I'm Rana and I'm a health coach," there's a big chance that you might lose the interest, because other than there's a million health coaches, what is new? Instead, niche it down. So say, consider something like this. "Hi, I'm Rana and I help teenagers who battle with self-esteem due to their weight gain more confidence through a health plan and a weight loss coaching program." That becomes your why, okay? The second point that you need to keep in mind is to make it about your target audience. So consider their struggles. What are their pain points? Where are they right now? And what do you need to address that can put you in the limelight of the person who can help them? All right? The third point for you to keep in mind is a very important point. I know I've said it before, and that is to be you. So imagine it's a conversation with somebody, like somebody right there you're talking to. So just be you. This document is a way for your audience to get to know you better, get to know the real you better. Another point to keep in mind is you need to give them background of where you were and how did you get here to where you are today. So don't be afraid to share not only your successes, but also your failures. Because nobody gets to be where they are without failures that taught them along the way. So here is also where you need to mention any kind of education or certification that is relevant to your audience and is also relevant to your business. So if you're a health coach and your program is based on something that is scientific, that needs certification, and you have it, mention it, because that's important. It gives you credibility. Another point that I'd like to share with you is to be clear in your successes. So it's don't be like vague. I've helped tons of clients to do X, Y, Z. What you can do is that, you can have something like, I've helped 50 different teenagers on their weight loss journey, if we are going to take the same example of the health coach. Or today I'm sharing my knowledge with more than 5,000 people online between my site and my social media. Or I've worked with many clients on their weight loss journey, and here are some testimonials. Now, it's very important to be very clear with your successes, so it doesn't look like it's up in the air, and some people might misunderstand it as things which are not clear or not real. Now, if you're just started in your business, you've just started in your entrepreneurial journey, and you don't have these numbers, then you have a choice. Either you build on your previous experience or you build on your personal experience. So, for example, you can either mention that you have personally gone through this journey, or that you've helped someone close, like a family member, through the journey. Building on previous experience, an example of it could be, if you're a copywriter, mention that during your agency years, when you've worked on the agency side, you've helped your clients with their advertising copy, and some of those campaigns won awards, for example. So don't worry, if you're just starting, you have the experience that you can build on. And you just need to decide what you want to share. Do you want to share something based on previous experience that got you where you are today, which is very, very important, or on personal experience? If you are for example, a personal trainer, and you help women, after pregnancy to lose the pregnancy weight through exercise. Because you've done the journey yourself. You're a mom, and you've gained, 25 kilograms, and you've lost it through a good food lifestyle, and certain exercises, and that's how you started your journey. This is also valuable. Personal experience is very, very valuable. Now, another thing that you can include in your About page is, and this is something that I like it in the end, and that is to either end it with something personal, whimsical, or with a call to action. So something personal or whimsical could be, 10 things you did not know about me, Or if you have a call to action, then you can include it at the end of your About page. Something like, here's a link to my latest blog post where I share with you the top 10 secrets of ABC. Or here's a link to watch this video where I share with you XYZ. It's a very nice way to end your About page. And one last thing is that I want you to keep in mind that the length of your About page is typically between something like 150 to 200 words. It's not a rule, it's just a guideline, just to keep that in mind. After you're done, go through the document one last time, make sure that there are no grammatical errors or spelling mistakes and all of that. And there you have it. You've just finished your About page. Congratulations. Now, let's go to step 3. Now that you have your About page document, step 3 is to do another document, okay? And that is duplicate the About page and start trimming it a bit and reworking it a little bit more, and create something called the byline document. Now, a byline document is a bio of you, but it's written in the third person. So, because it's usually used by other people for PR purposes. Because when you first start your business, or when you're in your business, and you have to put communication or publicity plan in place, because PR is necessary for building your brand image, your credibility. So when you land, let's say, an interview with an online magazine, or you get featured in a blog, or you get invited to a podcast, the host usually asks you for an introduction about yourself. That introduction is called the byline. And now that you have the About page, that process becomes just easier to make. So remember, the byline is written in the third person, and so from the About page, you need to reword it in that sense. So it's not like, hi, I'm Rana and I am the health coach. You say, Rana, health coach who helps XYZ. Now, bylines are usually not too long as a document. They're about 75 words to 100 max. And so you need to make sure that you include the important, very important information that will serve to introduce you and your mission and how you help your clients, and maybe an example or two of any successes that you have in the best light possible. All right? So now that you're done, now that you've finished 2 documents, the about page and the byline page. And that's where we start the final step. It's an exercise that's going to take you like a couple of hours, but this exercise will help you a lot and you will be done with it, trust me. So the final step is your social media bio. And to help you out, the best way is to open your about page and just start copying, only copy the information in the introduction of your about page and put that in a new Word document and call this new Word document, call it social media intro document. So as you all know, many social media platforms have a limited number of characters for the bio section. So make sure that you have 2 versions of the social media intro document. One which is like 120 characters, and that would be suitable for Instagram, Twitter, for example. And another one which is a bit longer, but it's still super short. It's shorter than the byline. And that is something that you can use in the about for Facebook pages or Facebook groups, LinkedIn, YouTube, and all of that. So your social media intro document should include how you help and you serve your clients, who are you, any awards or successes that can be mentioned, just a list of them. And ideally, you can have a call to action, like click here for my latest XYZ, or click on the link below to download my document ABC, And by the way, your social media bio document can also be your elevator pitch. So this is something that you can use when you're meeting someone super fast in that dinner or that party who ask you the classical question of, so what do you do? And you have a few seconds to impress them and then, start a conversation with them. That social media bio document will help you. So just learn it, just feel confident about it. And that's the answer that you can give somebody in that dinner party. So let's recap. These are the steps of this exercise. So step 1, do a brain dump, put all the information in one document. Step 2, filter that base document and create your about page using the tips that I've mentioned before. Step 3, use the final about page document to create your byline document and write it in the third person, okay? Step 4, use the intro of your about page and some specific information in your about page to create your social media intro document. Make it super short, have 2 versions, something with 120 characters and something a little bit more. And that is also your elevator pitch. So by the end of this exercise, you'll have a folder on your laptop that has you covered for all of your digital and social introductions. Your messages, your voice, your style, your information become all in sync and consistent across all the platforms that you use. And that is very important for your brand image and for your personal brand. So, to all of my passionate entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, freelancers, educators, and all you business owners, this episode is packed with all of these steps and tips to make your messaging and your brand in sync and consistent. So I really hope that that this episode helps you in any way possible. If you have any questions or want to open a conversation about this topic, you can find me in the comment sections of this podcast episode on my website. You'll find it on ranamawad.com/4. That's ranamawad.com/ just the number 4. Or you can find me on Instagram. My handle is @rana.mawad. Thank you so much for listening, and I can't wait to touch base again with you next week in a new episode and a new topic. So till then, have a great week and take care.